Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. Welcome to day 26 of Grinchmas. Yes, we are keeping Grinchmas going after the official Christmas holiday. My new goal is 30 days of Grinchmas. I did miss one day, but you know, I'm not gonna harp on that. So continue to expect some goodies sprinkled throughout the rest of 2020, you know, little things to make this fucked up year a little better. Oh, that's right, if I forgot to say it, did I already say it? I could have already said it. I love colorful makeup and colorful language, so expect some swear words around here. So day 26 of Grinchmas, I actually have a Grinch makeup tag. I want to thank a couple of people for inspiring me. First of all, Abby Williamson and Betty Jean Bean did a collab tag, the Cozy Christmas tag, that was from a different creator. And I saw that. I'm filming as of Christmas Eve. I saw their tag and I was like, that's so cute. But I'm not a Christmas bitch. Like I wish I was more, but it's Grinchmas. So I started poking around on YouTube and I found that there were some Grinch book themed tags out there, and I decided to kind of adapt the original one I found to my own Grinch makeup tag. So I want to thank Thoughts on Tomes for this tag, because not only did it inspire me to make a makeup tag, but I just love how they framed out the different questions. They're kind of like moments or scenes from perhaps books, perhaps The Grinch only, and perhaps other books. I am not a literary person as much as I want to be, so I could be missing out on some of these reference points. Anyway, enough revealing of my inner workings. So we have 10 questions. The very first one is, half of the lights on the Christmas tree are burnt out. Name a brand or a series of products that started out good and went downhill. Okay, because I am the queen of not just picking one answer, I didn't just pick one answer. So I have to first mention Bite Beauty. You know, that line that started out as lip products that you could eat, bite, because they're made of all natural ingredients, and yet now I barely see a lip product in their lineup. They came so far and fell so far. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I felt like I get what the point was. The point was we want to go all vegan, but you had such a good lipstick line. You had some really interesting colors. They were super creamy and comfortable in the era of liquid lipsticks. So yes. Also, Dominique Cosmetics. You know, when that first latte palette came out, everyone gave it a great review. And since the latte palette, I feel like things have been either mediocre or bad. Like, just honestly, the way Teresa just described the outside look and texture of that palette in her ugliest releases of the year video, I was like, oh no. And I feel like, while the latte color story wasn't, you know, super unique, it was just special enough where it felt like a neutral palette that just had a couple of interesting pops of color. And most of her other palettes have had like slightly interesting color stories, but I've just never heard rave reviews like I did with the latte palette. Another one, motherfucking Hourglass. Hourglass, what are you doing? What? The white supremacy is strong at Hourglass. We're just gonna leave it at that. So question 2 is, annoying great Aunt Sally who will not leave you alone. Name a product that you didn't enjoy, but everyone else seems to love, so it never goes away. There are probably a lot of things that I could have mentioned here, but some of them fit into like other tag questions. So I feel like the thing that I don't like are stick like face products. Stick foundation, bronzer, contour, blush, highlight. Just 2020 has brought me around to the cream liquid kind of highlighter blush world, but something about stick products, it's like you don't want to swipe them directly on the face if you have any kind of base product on. Even if they say they don't lift or smear, they probably do. I often find the formulas to be drier, so they're not even as nice to put on. And if I'm gonna go for a drier formula, I would rather just go for a powder. I'm gonna admit I haven't owned a stick foundation in probably a decade now, but I don't want them. I just don't, and I wish one of two things. They either need to evolve and get better or go away. So question 3 is, your pets keep knocking over the Christmas decoration. Name a brand or creator that kept messing things up for everyone else. I thought about including a creator in this answer, which is why I included it in the question. But when I really thought about it, Morphe fucked it up for every beauty creator in this space. Now I think they especially fucked us small creators over, but this whole like the affiliate code bullshit nonsense that Here for the Tea way back when kind of exposed, that fucked everything up, because there was all this hidden money being made, and once it got put out in the open, then there's no trust for creators. We're not all distrustful people, but we do deserve to get paid for our work. And Morphe, you fucked up the game for all of us. This is one of the reasons why I have a grudge against Morphe, besides the fact that they are trash. Besides the fact that I think that their products themselves are actually trash. The distrust that they put into place with their whole affiliate influencer code shit just makes me mad. Question 4. You hear your parents putting out the presents and learn Santa isn't real. Name a release that you were spoiled from because they revealed colors or swatches too early before releasing the product. So this question was originally like, name a book that you were spoiled about. But I thought about the way some brands are really bad about doing really early sneak previews, and so by the time the product has actually come out, by the time I could actually give you money for the product, the desire has like washed over me and I've moved on. And I think probably the best example of that is the Storybook Cosmetics Starry Night palette. Storybook Cosmetics does this a lot. They do little sneak previews very early, and then like they've had bigger brands steal from them, like based on sneak previews and other things. That's not cool, but at the same time, as a brand, I feel like you need to keep your cards closer to your chest and like wait until things are actually finalized before trying to hype something up. And with the whole storybooks, with the Starry Night palette, like Musée Beauty released a Starry Night palette before they did, and they are a new indie brand with a whole impressionism theme. I also, in the long run, just didn't think that color story was all that inspiring, but I feel like they really they were gonna finally get me. I was finally gonna buy a Storybooks Cosmetics palette, and then I felt like it took like 3 years to get the palette, so I'm good by now. Question 5. It's freezing outside. Name a brand that you just couldn't connect with. So the first brand that I feel like I really couldn't connect with and everyone was talking about was Becca Cosmetics. I tried 2 or 3 of the Becca highlighters and I just didn't get the hype. Like, and this was even back when we weren't necessarily doing the really high intensity, you know, Chimera, Bitter Lace Beauty, JD Glow. I don't know, I'm thinking of just like the really high shine, even the really glittery. Like when we were still just doing the metallic formula highlighters, I just didn't get the impact that I wanted. Either they weren't releasing colors that would actually work on me, which was a big thing for a long time because I heard about Becca the way so many people did. Champagne pop. And I felt like for years I was like, no, that color could work for me. I swatched that color so many times in Sephora's. I was like, no, I get, and then I would swatch it and I'd be like, this skin, no. So Becca and I just never really connected. I didn't think their eyeshadows looked impressive. I wasn't really interested in complexion products otherwise, like foundations or concealers. The lip products seem fine, but not like anything to write home about. The thing that everyone was raving about, I just didn't connect with, and so it made it kind of easy to just ignore the brand as a whole. Now, a brand that I also didn't connect with, but I kind of tried a little harder with is Huda Beauty. I love 9-pan palettes, and a lot of her 9-pan palettes are pretty, but something stopped me. It was probably the price point, because $27 for a 9-pan when it's not colors that I can kind of customize, you know, all of that. Like, it just, I had a hard time with. I still would totally be tempted by neon palettes on super sale, maybe even the pastel palettes, maybe even the haze palettes. But again, I have a hard time really letting myself get hooked into mainstream eyeshadow because my indie shadows like do something so much for me. What am I saying? Basically, usually mainstream formulas are pretty disappointing compared to my indie shadows. With Huda, so many of her eyeshadow palettes tempt me, but I feel the disconnect because I think the price point, the packaging with her face all over it, all of that, and I think the aesthetic that the brand presents, like in terms of marketing and imagery, just feels so separate from the kind of makeup styles and things that I love and adore. So it's like we keep trying and we keep just like missing each other, just not quite. The chemistry is like off. Something's off. Question number 6. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and it's giving you anti-romantic feelings. Name a brand partnership you just couldn't stand. 5 words. Too Faced and Erica Jane. Enough said. Question 7. That scratchy homemade wool sweater that you got for Christmas years ago, but you won't get rid of. Show some makeup products that have been sitting in your shelves for a while and you aren't motivated to use, but you don't have the heart to get rid of. So a couple of things. The BH Cosmetics Duo Light Highlight Palette. Now this is still really pretty, and when I think about it and I use it, it's nice, it's fun. I think it's a really lovely, like, mainstream affordable drugstore-ish colorful highlighter option, and they discontinued it. And even though I reach for so many other of my single and my compact highlighters, a lot of which are from indie brands, I have a hard time getting rid of this. I mean, it's not even incredibly old in my collection. It's probably about a year, maybe a year and a half. But I also know I'm not really using it. I also would say Moonspell. I mean, I have no desire to get rid of this, but at the same time, I'm not using it. But I'm garbage, because I'm just like, I know I'm not actually garbage, but like, this packaging is just everything. And I do think the color story is really pretty, but I'm just a single eyeshadow loving bitch, and I don't know. Yeah, this is not going anywhere. The Juvia's blush palette. This is a great quality, but again, I don't reach for it for some reason. Actually, I think I know why I don't reach for it. The shimmery, sirens in the background, sorry y'all. The shimmery shadows that are in here, well, they're blushes, but they feel like the Juvia's metallic shadow formula, and that's just not always something I'm super into putting on my cheeks. And then the matte formula is so matte, whereas I've been into more of the like luminous, glowy kinds of formulas for blushes. If they're matte, I don't want them to be like dead flat matte. So this is not going anywhere, but yeah. I should also be realistic about the amount of powders I have in my collection. Like, I have so much loose powder just between ABH and Fenty. And Too Faced. And then I have pressed powders, and I should get rid of some of these. Yeah. Speaking of Becca, I should probably pass on the highlighters that I have from Becca. This is Berlin Girl Glow. I tried so hard to love this. I thought I would adore it. Not light enough for my skin. The Opal Flashes Jade looks like a bruise. Like, it's a green highlighter that I don't like. So I have things that I should get rid of or pass on. But, you know, I had this conversation with Audra. Audra is really good about going through their collection, calling things out regularly. And, you know, they're like, I don't want to, like, not have a collection where I don't really know what's what or things like that. And I remember recently I finally said, I was like, I've barely been taking care of myself and responsibilities that pay me or that are like absolute necessities. I haven't had the energy to like declutter. So I need to realistically do a big declutter, but also I need the energy to do about 50 other things first. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Question 8. Name a product that is discontinued or a brand that went away that you are still mad about. I couldn't think of any specific brands, but I decided to include that just in case you have some brands that you're sad have like left the market, gone out of business, because I know that that's a reality. 2 things that have been discontinued, both in that bright, colorful clown makeup realm. Kaleidos VR Neon, gorgeous 6-pan eyeshadow palette, and they don't make it anymore. Oh, it's missing the red, but there's usually a red that goes right there, but it's in a palette because these are magnetic. Gorgeous palette, gorgeous packaging, shimmers are great, mattes are really lovely, little compact, like warm toned rainbow palette, not a full rainbow. This is no longer available. That makes me sad. Another rainbow-ish thing that makes me very sad. Colored Rain. Now, Colored Rain on a whole has made me sad because they discontinued singles. But one of the singles collections, basically, when they first came out with their Vivid Pigments collection, it was a bundle of singles. 16 shadows. You could buy the whole thing. You could buy them on their own. They had an empty palette that kind of went with the whole aesthetic. I loved that because if you were just super into purples, you could buy the 4 purples. If you just needed a bright pink in your collection, you could buy that. The yellow Lemon Drop. I want everyone to have that as a single in their collection because it's such a good yellow. But they revamped it and brought it back as a palette, a glued in palette. Now, if they had done like what they did with Juicy Boost and brought it back as a palette, but it was still magnetic and maybe still offered the singles, like I would be less angry, less upset. But now, like if I think about yellows, I don't always want to recommend that shadow because I don't want to have to encourage somebody to buy 16 shadows glued in to just get that one amazing yellow. Or the green on my lower lash line is from that collection. Like, I just miss the versatility, and I feel like it kind of limited the palette for me as something I would recommend. Now, question 9 is, the malls are overly crowded with holiday shoppers. Ooh. And name a makeup series that has too many releases in it or went on too long. If you are around for the Fuck, Marry, Kill collab I did recently during Grinchmas, this is going to come to no surprise, but the Urban Decay Naked series has gone on for way too long. Do a really nice purple palette. Do a really cool yellow gold palette. Do a cherry red palette. You don't have to call them Naked Ultraviolet, Naked Honey, Naked Cherry. And then they could actually be pigmented and saturated rather than being these like softer tones of colors to satisfy with the it's a naked version of purple. But like some of us just want colors. And I'm not saying don't have a color story. You can have a color story. You can have a range of purples in a collection. That would be super awesome. That would be a beautiful palette. But like what they're doing with their naked palettes right now, in my opinion, completely uninspiring. Completely just, even if I was a neutral lover, that's not where I would be going to for neutrals these days. And then question 10, the Grinch. Name a big mainstream brand that you hate. Now, one of the original little details in the tag, when it was a book tag, was talking about no villains. And I'm gonna hold true to that and say no villains, no Jebediah Stinkfish. I'll even skip Morphe. And you know what? My own personal villain, ColourPop, I will even skip them. So, brand that I hate. Of course I have more than one. I have 3 for you. So first of all, new development, Natasha Denona, because the owner is trash. Mistreated multiple creators, a black woman, a fat woman, released a palette with an obvious disregard for like multiple skin tones, face palettes, disregard for multiple skin tones. Just no. No. For Sally also, I don't need my skincare with the side of bukkake. Okay? I don't. We didn't need that trend to hit Instagram. It was a toxic time. Hopefully we are moving past that. But I still see that influence out there. And it's trash. But the ultimate, and the brand that I would just really love to see go away out of Sephora and in general, fucking Goop. Do I need to explain that? Just vagina eggs, the whole supplement multivitamin bullshit that they pull, all of it. I've lost all my words. I just want to say Goop can die in a fire. On that note, that felt like a very chaotic filming session for me. So if it felt chaotic for you as well, my apologies. Welcome to Grinchmas. That's how it's been. But I also enjoy talking about this and kind of using the book theme tag as a spin to talk about makeup. Because if you're new around here, I love talking about makeup. I have lots of opinions. And yesterday you got a really positive lovey-dovey video, so that today I could spike you with a little bit of a, you know, Grinchy makeup themed video. If you are a creator and you like this video, feel free to make it as a tag. Send me the link if you make it. I'd love to watch. Don't just think of it as a holiday thing, because you can be a Grinch any time of year. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I hope that you are all having an amazing holiday time, taking care of yourself, staying away from big crowds of people, and just generally staying as safe as we can, so that next holiday season, we can do the things that we used to do. Okay? That would be really nice. Thank you so much to my patrons. Thank you to my YouTube members, and thank you to everyone that's watching. Thank you to everyone that supports me in whatever way that you want to. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you for making this year as amazing as you have in the midst of a whole lot of nonsense. Hopefully I will see you again tomorrow for another fun video. It's gonna be a little bit something chill tomorrow, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye, friends.